This time on Distant Shores, we do a 3-day offshore passage with Marilee, David, and Dana as crew.
Let's go sailing.
Then after making landfall at South Caicos, tackle some shallow water piloting, dodging coral heads crossing the Caicos Bank, where we stop to do some snorkeling. We conclude this leg of our Atlantic Circle with some fun at the main Turks and Caicos island of Providenciales. We're Cheryl and Paul Shard, hosts of the Distant Shores Sailing Adventure TV series. We've been sailing and living aboard for 35 years, documenting the sailing lifestyle. Join us as we begin the next chapter of global voyaging aboard our Sail Orion 49.
So we're starting off with a pretty calm day today. We've got winds expected has only been a couple of knots. We're heading from the British Virgin Islands to the Turks and Caicos, which is about 420 miles that way. We got some light air today, and then we got some wind filling in from the side. It should be a pretty sail. We've got Marilee, Dana, and David on board. And they've sailed with us before, and it's nice to have a crew where we know everybody. David's got the fishing rod out, so maybe we'll catch some fish. It'll be the first time we've actually tried fishing on the new boat.
I'm so excited. John and I have been longtime fans of Distant Shores, and I'm much younger. This is what I would choose as my lifestyle. Great admirers, but I have always wanted to do open ocean sailing in the new boat. I've been so excited about it from the beginning, from the keel up for the new boat, and to be able to sail it in the open ocean is such an honor. So I'm just happy to be here. Again, longtime fans. My husband and I have sailed over the years, and this is sort of a culmination of a dream.
Well, I'm looking forward to sailing with my wife Dana and getting an ocean passage in and doing lots of sailing in hopefully warm tropical waters.
And have you done any offshore sailing yourself before?
I have.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, I've sailed to Hawaii by myself on my Olsen 30 sailboat and did a number of other offshore passages with crew.
Hi, I'm Dana. My husband and I are here from Texas, and the reason I came, is to see if offshore sailing is something that I would like to do as an ongoing hobby. So excited to be here, and let's do this.
Let's go sailing. All right.
Let's go sailing.
This is why we love the large Code Zero sail. When the wind gets light, the boat slows down, and it can be tempting to turn on the motor. But if you can sail in the light breezes, it makes a day like this into a dreamy sailing day. It's about 450 miles offshore to the Turks and Caicos, being careful to stay away from the unlit shallows of the Navidad and Silver Banks. We normally plan to make about 150 miles a day, so this 450-mile passage should take 3 days. Pilot charts are navigational tools that provide averaged historical data on prevailing winds, currents, wave heights, and other weather conditions for specific geographic regions and months to help sailors plan the fastest and safest routes. They're not used for actual navigation, but for the planning stages of a voyage, showing long-term typical conditions rather than real-time ones. The arrows fly with the wind, and the length of the shaft shows the percentage of time winds come from that direction in a given month. The number of feathers on the shaft show the average force of the wind on the Beaufort scale. In this case, the pilot chart for March shows we expect winds from the east 41% of the time, blowing at force 4, a moderate breeze. And when we get nearer to Caicos, it's even more likely to come from east-northeast, at 58% of the time, also force 4. I use pilot charts to plan a voyage well in advance, then use weather forecasts when the voyage is just a few days away. And of course, nowadays we can use Starlink and PredictWind to keep an eye on the weather while we're actually at sea.
Later, the wind drops to almost nothing. However, it's an amazing opportunity to enjoy dolphin visits like this. There are more than a dozen of them this time, and in these calm conditions with such clear water, we can see them swimming more than 50 feet down. Dolphins love to play at the bow, and although they come so close, they never touch the boat. It's a beautiful sunset tonight, and as darkness falls, we keep sailing, maintaining an around-the-clock watch. 4 hours on and 4 hours off. We have 2 people on a watch at one time. Since Marilee and Dana are new to offshore sailing and sailing at night, we make sure they get a chance to stand watch with each of us at various times, so they have the opportunity to sail with more than one experienced offshore sailor on this passage. Check out our Sail Away Week schedule if you'd like to join us for some offshore sailing.
We all have activities we like to do when off watch, and for David, it's fishing.
On day 2, David pulls in a beautiful blackfin tuna. Marilee has anticipated this and has come supplied with nori, which are thin, dried sheets of pressed seaweed used for making sushi, which she is good at. Besides sushi, David also cooks up some of the fish as fillets, being careful in the galley as the boat rolls in the seaway.
It's only a little more than an hour since David pulled this blackfin tuna out of the ocean, and we sit down to enjoy sushi, sashimi, and fried fish. Delicious. The next day, after 3 nights at sea, we have calm conditions as we motor into the large protected harbour at South Caicos to drop anchor in front of the small settlement and take the dinghy ashore to find a cheerful little restaurant to celebrate our arrival.
You got your cracked conch?
Oh wow. Okay.
What do I have? Oh, more cracked conch.
What we got here.
We got the grilled conch, grilled shrimps, grilled snapper, and grilled lobster.
Wow.
I'll be right here. I'll be right back.
And
All
then
that food you got.
he'll take
Enjoy, my brother. You want me to take a group picture?
Oh, sure. That'd be awesome.
Welcome to the Turks and Caicos. Today we are going to be crossing the Caicos Bank, which is all very shallow in this coral head, so we've got to keep a constant eye out. But it's 50 miles across the banks, and it's one of the coolest places around to be on these banks. We got a light air day, which is nice, meaning we're going to have not too big of waves. It'll be easier for us to see the shallows and the coral heads that are there in the rocks. So it's careful navigation all the way across the Turks and Caicos Banks. Okay, we're lucky with our winds today. Our plotted course across the bank will take us in areas where there's less coral heads on known channels. And luckily that coincides with the wind that's going to take us much of the way across. So we're slipping along with the code 0 and the mainsail out and making a little bit of leeway because we have to have the keel all the way up. The depths in here are less than 4 and 3 meters and even sometimes into the less than 2 meters. So we have to put the keel away entirely for today's course, 50 miles on the shallow banks, and that's working out well with the winds the way they are. And the boat does make some more leeway with the keel up, but there is a keel stub in this design of the boat. So the keel stub is helping to stop us from making worse leeway, and we're actually doing pretty good going upwind with this configuration, and all sail up and the keel up as well. It's not like there's marked channels across the banks. There's routes where people have sounded them before, but coral heads change and grow and subside and sands shift. So it's a good idea to keep an eye out the whole time. Our crew's been doing a great job. We've been training them on how to be able to see the coral heads from a distance. Basically, there's usually a very white ring around a black area on the horizon, and you can see that white area helps you to see the coral head and to know that it is a coral head. But the reason that happens with a ring like that is that the fish swim out from around the coral head and will swim a certain distance away from the coral head, usually maybe 5 or 10 meters, and they don't want to go much further than that, cleaning the sand off around that area by the fish making little trips out and back. It's great. Everyone is doing a great job keeping an eye out, keeping an eye peeled, and learning to sail on the shallow waters in the shallow bank. Here is about 6 meters deep. So this is one of the deeper areas. We're going to be getting into shallower areas where it's only about 3 meters deep for part of the day also. But here it is 6.
The banks are an area where shallow sands extend over a large distance, all at similar depths. Today, Caicos Bank starts at 6 meters deep, about 20 feet. Then over the next few hours, shallows to less than 3 meters, about 10 feet deep. The problem is that coral heads grow in the shallows, sometimes reaching 2 or 3 meters tall, as seen on this previous crossing we did in the Bahamas. We're keeping a sharp lookout for darker patches where the coral shows up over the white sand. You need to do the passage in daylight with careful eyeball navigation and find a path that keeps the sun above and behind you. It will be difficult to see if you're looking into the sun on the water.
We're still keeping a watch out for those coral heads, but there's coral heads all over the place. We'll keep an eye out for them as we cross over. It'll probably be about a 10-hour crossing today.
So it's lunchtime. We're doing a 50-mile crossing of the Caicos Bank. So we've stopped for lunch. And we've stopped near Coral Head so the guys can go snorkeling. And the reefs out here are just pristine. They are a hazard to navigation, so we do have to keep a good eye out, as Paul's been explaining. But what a beautiful place. We feel like we're in the middle of a giant swimming pool. There's no land in sight, and it's just a gorgeous day.
off the bottom. Provo, 12 miles away, just on the horizon. Little buildings sticking out. I don't know if you can see them in this shot or not.
The twin headsail rig allows us to put the Genoa headsail away easily and bring out the Code Zero sail, which is nearly double the size, and sail in lighter breezes. The Code Zero can handle a maximum wind of 15 knots apparent. We've got about 18 miles to go to the island of Provo, the most populated of the Turks and Caicos Islands by far, with over 30,000 people.
We keep up our speed so we get in before sunset. We can't afford to lose the light on the coral-strewn waters of the Caicos Bank. Our base in Provo is Southside Marina, where we celebrate our successful passage and discover an unusual form of watercraft here.
It's a combination of a jet ski and a sports car, known as a jet car, inspired by Corvette and Ferrari, based on the hull and powertrain of a jet ski. We learned you can rent them on Provo when you visit the island. The island is surrounded by beaches, most of them protected by hundreds of miles of barrier reef. For swimming and beachcombing, these are consistently rated as some of the finest beaches in the world.
We make a couple of day outings to enjoy the beaches before the crew flies home. Grace Bay Beach is the most popular beach on Provo, where most of the island's resorts are found. We clean up and enjoy a good meal out here, a real contrast to being at sea for a while, and a great way to conclude our voyage to the Turks and Caicos.
Join us next time as we sail from the Turks and Caicos to explore the beautiful family islands of the Bahamas.